1970. Oh, what a year. Bombs are dropped in Cambodia. 4 students are killed at Kent State. The Penn Central goes bankrupt.
Trains don't run on schedule. They leave on time, they don't arrive on time. We've often sat on a train for half, 3/4 of an hour, and the conductor will come through and someone will say, "What's happened?" And they won't even give you the courtesy of an answer.
But we had fun crises, too. The miniskirt versus the midi. How much leg is too much or too little?
I have a dress shop. I hate it.
Big Bird lands safely after Sesame Street's maiden voyage. Adventurous landlubbers try waterbeds. And Bernadette Devlin is named Man of the Year in Ireland.
If their attitude is that with 10,000 soldiers they can simply crush people in this country, they're going to make the age-old British mistake.
Many of the faces are the same. Dick and Liz, Frankie and Jane and Jackie. But some of the names are changed. Cassius Clay is now Muhammad Ali. It's a big year for strikes, the first ever for the U.S. mail.
Tells us now to go back to work and then we'll talk. Organized labor does not do that. We'll stay out until he decides to talk and gives us what we're asking for, and then we will go back to work.
The Knicks beat the Lakers in the NBA. Baltimore beats Cincinnati in 5 games. Dust Commander wins the Kentucky Derby. Of course, Hello Dolly is running still. Woody Allen says, not only is there no God, try getting a plumber on weekends. And Ted Kennedy answers questions about Chappaquiddick.
I made immediate and repeated efforts to save Mary Jo by diving into the strong and murky current, but succeeded only in increasing my state of utter exhaustion and alarm.
These students from Chapman College in California take to the high sea in search of higher education. Where do you go after home waters have been explored?
All over Europe, South America, the Far East, Africa. I've just been around the world.
What I liked about it was you make so many friends, and you get so close to so many people. It's really hard to understand, you know, because you're living together for 4 months, and you see each other, you eat with each other, sometimes sleep with each other, you know.
It's just so far out. It's just like, instead of reading the stuff, you really live it, and it's just part of you, and it stays with you. It's a whole way of life.
I'm majoring in psychology, and I'm not so sure if I want to go to graduate school after this. Before I went on the trip, I thought I would, but now I think I'd like to go back to Africa and live with the people there, maybe.
It brings people together as human beings, and you really learn what mankind, what humans are, you know.
But you got to have longer
Right.
time.
Right now, the college is kind of expensive. They can only rich people apply, really. So I'm not really rich, and I just couldn't relate to this kind of people.
Back to basics. Reading, writing, arithmetic. And, oh yes, riding the high seas. In New York, they renamed Times Square Hello Dolly Square in honor of the 2,718th performance of the longest-running musical in Broadway's history, establishing again that producer David Merrick knows what show tickets folks will buy. He and latecomer to the Dolly tradition, Ethel Merman, seem a little less than inspired at the news conference celebrating the events. But the show goes on.
To the Record Center in the Musical Theater in New York City goes the prize today to Hello Dolly and to Ethel Merman and David Merrick. We congratulate them and salute them. Times Square today becomes Hello Dolly.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you very much. This is about one of the happiest days I think that I've ever spent in the theater. I was supposed to do Hello Dolly originally. Unfortunately, I turned it down. But as I said to Mr. Merrick this morning, I think it's happier winding up this way at the end of the show than starting the show. And I couldn't be happier doing it and sharing it with Mr. Merrick.
Give us a song, Ethel.
Well, at these prices?
The women of America are marching, more of them in the East than anywhere else, marching for their rights and to mark the 50th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, giving women the right to vote. That birthday of the vote comes shortly after the House of Representatives passes the Equal Rights Amendment with only 15 nays. The marchers parade up Fifth Avenue, past August St. Patrick's Cathedral, seeing themselves aligned with blacks and other oppressed people of other times. They wind up in Central Park to listen to Gloria Steinem and other high priestesses of the movement.
Women, black people, Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, and all the minorities, that all of us must stand up together and say, no more. This inhuman system of exploitation will change, but only if we force it to change, and force it together.
We demand freely available child care facilities that will ease the burden of the working mother and give all women an alternative to confinement in the home.
But some statements are quiet and determined.
There's nothing wrong with washing dishes. There's nothing wrong with caring for children. There's nothing wrong with doing any of the things that women do. What's wrong is the way they're defined, that women only do this work and men only do that work. That's what's wrong.
How many women are walking on the streets like, oh, there's something the matter with me, my life isn't working, I'm crumbling, I'm falling apart, and there was a really simple answer. It's that you don't have any opportunities, you don't have options open to you. You have a lot of options. You can be somebody's wife, you can be somebody's mother, you can be somebody's lover, you can be somebody's anything, but you can't be somebody. My husband and I have decided to split, but we're not breaking. It's not like what you think of a divorce thing, like, well, I don't even know if we're going to go through the whole divorce, we're just going to live in separate places. It's not that I'm leaving him. I'm leaving marriage, the structure that marriage puts on us, If I said that I was leaving him, then I would be implying that some other man could make me happy, that my future rested with some man, and that's not the case. My future rests with myself.
Unless men begin to recognize that something really profound is happening, mainly that women have caught on to the game. We don't know it completely yet. We haven't really discovered the total anatomy of our oppression and of what they've been doing to us. But we do know that it's happening. We're on to it. And unless they accept this and stop developing just another new line to cope with that, there are going to be fewer and fewer relationships going on between men and women.
Maybe the men aren't ready for it, but the revolution is on.
You like our frame? You like our frame? A new kind of frame of mind. Sweet and a sour, hands in the fist. A new kind of womankind.
Open up, or we're closing down. Open up, or we're tearing down. Isolation.
Sanctuary, basically medieval.
Segregation based on gender inherently is evil. Open up, or we're closing down. Open up, or we're tearing down. More a runaround, satisfied numb, disdainful smug. You're basking on dangerous ground. Open up, or we'll close it down. Open up, or we'll tear it down.
Bending elbows.
Self-indulgence, nothing but a crashing bore.
Crash the party!
Integrated, take the hinges off the door.